Hello, Global Gladiators. We're back with Street Masters Rise of the Kingdom from Blacklist Games. And we're about halfway through the Aftershock campaign, and I totally stole the idea for this video from the King of Average YouTube channel. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about how the campaign is going and what you could get so far. So, first off, if you've never heard of Street Masters and you just want to jump on, this is a perfect opportunity for you, as you can get all of the previous campaign stretch goals and goodies for the same price as the original Kickstarter of $109, or you can get a discounted combo tier of both the original Kickstarter and all the Aftershock goodies for $209 US. For just Aftershock, you can get just the Aftershock tier for $109. And as of this recording, you still have 2 weeks to go, and there will probably be twice as much stuff as I'll go over in this video available to you included in that package. One of the biggest things to discuss as you get in the Aftershock tier that you probably won't get if you were to wait for retail release is this box here. As you can see, they've worked really hard to create a box to store the entire Street Masters game just in Aftershock. You won't get this box if you just get the Street Masters tier, but you will if you get the Aftershock tier or the combo tier. The way it's designed is these trays are neatly set up so that you can just pop them out and get Street Masters to the table within a few minutes. There is a video on the Blacklist YouTube that shows you how to set it up and how fast it is. It's a 2 or 3 minute setup, and you can get right to playing the game. I'll put a link in the description to that video, and if you are unable for some reason to get the box and you still want to be able to have token trays and whatnot, Board Game Geek, I created 3D printable files, and you can put token and card trays, print them out to your heart's content. A big cardboard box is not the only reason to go for this tier. You also get 4 fighters, a couple of enemies, some stages. I'm going to go quickly through each one and just kind of describe what the differences are between these characters and the ones you would have gotten in the regular core box, and why you would want to go ahead and purchase this one. Starting with Lita, she is a very different character, as is all of the fighters in Street Masters. They're totally unique. Her specialty is using interacts and loot cards in a very different way. Loot cards in the campaign for Aftershock is going to become super critical, and interacts on various stages, being able to use and interact from a different side of the board because of her special abilities, is really going to make things easier and a lot more interesting. The stages in Aftershock have a lot going on, and you can get hit from multiple ways and things that you've never seen before in the original Street Masters. Next is Murphy, again another totally unique character. He comes with 2 minis because he's kind of like 2 characters. In the normal human side, he is more of a defensive support character, but when you make him angry enough, he turns into this giant hulking monster of Murphy, and he'll do crazy amounts of damage, utilizing his pain in a way to inflict that back onto the enemies. So that's really, really cool. Then we have Ronnie. She's like a scrappy underdog. The more enemies she's engaged with that are more powerful than her, the more powerful she in turn will become against them. She is like the true underdog card come to life. And finally, the last fighter that's exclusive to the Aftershock box is the favorite fighter of Brady Sadler, and that's Veda. She is the closest thing you're going to get to getting Jean Grey in your game. She has telekinetic powers, which allows her to move things around the board, and as if she were pelting the enemies with debris, as you can see in her card here, with cars and cans and whatever cool stuff, she can whittle down defense really well. And that's going to be really important, because not only do you get fighters, you get whole new enemy factions returning to Aftershock with a whole new sculpt, and a bunch of brand new mutated friends is Project X in the Abandoned. So you can see this as science gone amok. You get Project X, who does not fight like other bosses. Her health does not scale up or down. Instead, she gives mutations to your fighters that you have to fight back before you can damage her, which is a totally different dynamic, and you'll have to find a whole new play style in order to defeat her. It's a lot of fun, and all of those little crazy mutants behind her have their own special abilities that make them very difficult to defeat. So scientific malfeasance isn't the only kind you get. You get corporate malfeasance in Parasol Inc. So if this looks a little bit familiar to you, there is possibly, you could say, a corporation out there under whose umbrella has been a terrible set of mistakes that could have led to the destruction of a city, and there's raccoons in those cities. So perhaps you could find some parallels. You can really see with the Parasol Inc. the story coming together for Aftershock. They're out there trying to take advantage of the problems that happen to Ransom City, and they may be one of the toughest sets of enemies to actually defeat. They are also the bosses that drive the story across 4 new stages. These stages act very differently than previous ones. I'm talking, you can get crazy mutated beasts attacking you out of nowhere. You can get damage from the environments. All kinds of cool things happen, and that's going to take place over a story. So you get a brand new story deck. Each of the heroes, as you fight through Ransom City, is going to get their own stories. So you get upgrade cards to go with that. And you get something totally new, which is the Showdown deck, which is an upgraded story that occurs as you defeat the enemies. So you get to the end of the campaign, and then you start playing these showdowns, and the enemies get more powerful as you go through. They get more powerful in a way that is not linear. It has some level of randomization. So even if you play through these stories and you play through these showdowns, it's going to be different each time. And not only enhancing the replayability with those cards, you have a lot of upgraded components to make that experience more fun and get this on the table more often. You get some more loot cards that fills in some of the gaps that were missing in the core set. So things act a little bit differently, and you get a more variety of cool stuff. Then there's these 4 mission reference cards. Mission cards are a huge game changer. This is going to allow you to constantly be working with things that are on the board in an entirely different way to keep you engaged. Even if you have downtime, it's not your turn. These missions are going to keep you going and engaged doing something. These sturdy plastic dividers, I'm hoping they're going to be like the ones that are in Kingdom Death Monster. If they've got the art on them, it's a lot better than what you could find in a lot of other plastic extrusions. So I'm excited for this. There's a vertical orientation instead of the horizontal orientation of the paper dividers that originally came with Street Masters. So that looks like it's going to be part of the storage solution. And then all these new tokens. The colors are very different because it was requested by a lot of people to have color-coded tokens so that it was easier on the table to find kick, punch, and grapple. So they've listened. They got that going on. If you look, there's these colored tokens. Those are your mission tokens that as you go through the missions, you're going to earn and be able to spend on lots of cool things. And the most exciting part of that to me is extra actions can pop in. Then, of course, you're going to get a rule book. Now, why be excited about the rule book? Not only just the other cool stuff that's in Aftershock, you have entirely new play modes, such as the simultaneous play mode, and it's going to drastically speed up the way 3 and 4 player games go. So before, it could take hours to get through a 3 or 4 player game, waiting for people to make decisions. Now you can totally change up the way that the table is working by having the players all go at once and then do the boss and stage actions, and then players go again, and you can strategize entirely different ways. And most of, unfortunately, if you use this mode, the stage things that I did might be obsolete because of how you can time where the enemies are spawning and when they react and how they come in. So you're gonna have to think about the stages in a whole new way. But that's gonna be great fun because you're gonna be able to do it with more of your friends. And for me, that just means I need to make some more videos to update it for those types of modes. Then there's going to be even more new play modes we'll talk about in a little bit. We just unlocked some turbo dice that'll speed up the game even more. And that's what a lot of this stuff is about. Getting things to the table fast, getting things done fast, maximizing your fun, and letting you play the game you want to play. And speaking of the game you want to play, in a reversal of the Redemption Pack, we have Essence of Evil, which is a brand new story, brand new stages, brand new enemies, and a brand new fighter deck for an old favorite ally of Hanzo. Now, what's different about Hanzo? Before, when you activated him, he would give you power. Now, as a fighter, he's the man-at-arms. He's full of weapons. As far as I'm concerned, he's a little like Doug Marcaida from Forged in Fire. He can hand weapons out, and he can kick butt with them. He's got a totally different mechanic. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think he's going to be a lot of people's favorite fighter just because he's so different. And he comes with the Ayakashi. As far as their theming, they're similar to the yokai from The Legend of Oni, in that they're also from a Japanese myth. The Ayakashi are a sea serpent, and they're crazy. They can prevent you from doing your most powerful attacks in a way that no other boss or enemy can. And of course, this is all going to come with its own story. The hero story for Hanzo, showdown deck for the Ayakashi, and some new tiles. The art's still work in progress for those. I've seen them on the playtest, and they're as insane as the rest of it. That's everything that you're going to get from the exclusive Aftershock tier. Now let's take a look at what everyone's going to get that pledges a stretch goal tier, and start with the overview cards. People were a little thrown off as to what should I put in my deck, what should I have as a fighter, how hard is this enemy, how hard is this stage, and that's what the overview cards are for. They'll also allow you to do randomization. You can shuffle them up and then just pull a random one, and that's the one that you're going to fight right now. And we also get a brand new enemy deck. It comes with the Dawn as the boss, and if you look closely, you get Genesis. They were a stretch goal that was not attainable in the last campaign, so it's great to see them come back. They have the mob rules and peer pressure tiles that are going to come for stages, and they're very different also than the way that the enemies interact with the stage, so that's going to be a real cool thing to play. The Plumber, the Bonnie and Clyde, or Bonnie and Tommy. Genesis also comes with removable wings, which I have no idea how that's going to turn out, but hey, that's something totally new, and very different, and new and different is what this campaign's all about. And in the tradition of Pestilence from the last campaign, we get a new and different enemy deck full of monsters. So, hey, I don't know if that's the bride of some crazy mad doctor. There is Bartholomew, an impish little guy who seems to be on a murder streak with a knife. You have the chainsaw-wielding boss of Selene with the crazy hair, and Ylfa the werewolf, and they are the Davenport Manor enemy deck. They get the Salem Street story, they get their own showdown, they get their own Real Terror and A State of Decay tiles, which if you watched my Pestilence video of episode 25, is again probably going to be something wholly new, wholly different, and I'm going to look forward to hopefully next Halloween making a video for this one. And we also get a lot of upgrades for components that are in the core set. You get Brotherhood, Golden Dragons, Cartel, Showdown decks. Hey, where's the Kingdom? We'll find out. Stretch goals are still coming in. And you also get a set of colored defense tokens just for you. If you got the Aftershock tier as shown before, then you would get all of the colored defense tokens. So now everybody can kind of get in on it. And Turbo mode. This just unlocked as I'm making this video. This is going to have exploding dice that are for the enemies so they can do more damage to you, and also ways for you to do more damage using these special dice to the enemies. Hopefully this should speed the game up, but still make it super fun and add a little bit of that gambling aspect to it as you use these dice. And finally, we can't forget the brand new fighters. Jack, he is a powerhouse. He sacrifices his health in order to do more damage, so he's going to have a whole different dynamic to how he works. I haven't seen anything on Mickey Scott so far. I have no idea what type of fighter he's going to be, but he was a special bonus for beating the Brook City total from the last Kickstarter. So that's been just a bonus. It's going to be pretty cool no matter what. And then we have Raven, who is matched up with the Davenport Manor stuff, and she also has a very different way that she works. She has low health, but she gains back health very quickly and can do damage to a lot of different targets. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget that we are also trying to get some social stretch goals done. The Max Story deck we've already completed, which is great. You can watch my video on him to see what type of fighter he's like. But there's also Tiger Azules and Clint, who are amazing fighters. One for range, one for close up. If you want to go ahead and share this with your friends, that'll help everyone out to try to get the story decks for these fighters, and hopefully their upgrade cards, which will make everything a lot more fun. If there's a criticism out there for Kickstarter campaigns that I've seen, it's a lot of people can be inundated by how much stuff there is, and I want you to know one thing. This game plays really fast, and these upgrades that we talked about make the gameplay even faster. You are going to get through all of the stages. You are going to get through all of the fighters. You are going to get through all of the bosses. You may not get through all of the rivals and allies, but you use rivals and allies to scale up and down the difficulty. You're going to have fun. This game is amazing. It's really well designed, and all of these new things fit into this one great box if you get the Aftershock tier. And it'll be pretty on the shelf, but it'll be even better on the table when you and your friends are knocking out a couple hours of game night fun, not talking about anything else going on in the world except having this wonderful game experience. And that's why I play games, and I want you guys to have that same experience. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to leave me a comment, or hey, come join us in the Street Masters Fan Facebook page. If you are so inclined to join Facebook, there's a great community. It's the easiest way to share videos. You can go to my playlist and you can watch all of the content from the add-ons like the Redemption Pack, Twin Tigers Pack, and see if this is the game for you. I hope it is. Have a good one.